I'm here, Welcome 23. You're joining me for Open Heart Second Year, Chapter 20, Picking Sides. You stand at the curb with $1 billion check in your hand, watching Leland's limo drive away as his words echo inside your head. The choice is yours, Doctor. Thoughts of rejoining your friends of Edenbrook flood your mind. I need to tell everyone. Oh, and call Naveen. This could be everything we're hoping for. You stop in your tracks as a new realization hits you. But Edenbrook under Leland wouldn't be the same. What sort of changes might he make? You safely tuck the check into your pocket and begin to walk home, a flurry of thoughts racing through your mind. He said himself, he's finding this cure no matter what. That sort of attitude could lead to breakthroughs we've never dreamt of, or expectations no one could ever hope to meet. Can I really hand the lives of every doctor, a patient, and to a man whose only interest is fueling his own desire? But if I don't, then Edenbrook really is gone, and any good it could have done dies with it. You sigh as you arrive back at your apartment. How could he leave such an impossible choice to me? You step back into your apartment where you find Sienna, Elijah, and Aurora already awake. Morning, roomie. Please tell me you were out picking up donuts. Sorry, just getting some air. Where's Jackie? By the sound of things, still snoring in her bedroom, though. I guess there's no need to get up early anymore. Speak for yourself. It's my first day off in forever. I'm not gonna waste it. I think we should all seize the day. That's the spirit. Clearly we all had the same idea. Well, except for Jackie. Sleeping until noon might just be her way of seizing the day. You can sense the effort your friends are putting into keeping their spirits up. We could all use a little self-care right now, and that includes you, Casey. That's why I'm off to the movies. You know, how long it's been since I saw something new in the theater. Have fun with that. I'm gonna go burn through some of the energy, rock climbing. Ambitious. It's not like I'm headed to the mountains. There's a gym nearby with a wall I've been dying to try out. Or forget workouts. I need the biggest, fanciest brunch you've ever seen to work through all this. You're welcome to join, Casey. I'm sure that goes for all of us. I could definitely use some advice, but I don't want them to be influenced by each other. It's too big a decision. Enjoy the day off with your roommates and get their advice on what to do. You can spend time with as many of them as you like while you make your decision. So basically, I can go with all of them. For no diamonds. Oh boy. Well, first, I'm gonna get a brunch, then. I could really go for a good brunch right now. Yay! You sit down with Sienna at a trendy brunch spot downtown. I've been dying to try this place since I moved here. They're known for lemon ricotta pancakes, and they're also a massive buffet. I say we order all the food. I was kinda hoping you'd say that. A waitress arrives to take your order. We'll both take the buffet. Excellent. Make sure not to miss the omelet bar. It's a favorite. And of course, you'll both be having the bottomless mimosas as part of the buffet. Now I know I made the right call. The server leaves to get your drinks, and you and Sienna head to the buffet, piling your plates with eggs, fried meats, pastries, fruit, and more. It's because the pancakes didn't sound all that good. I regret nothing, except I wish we'd found this place sooner. Think of all the brunches we've missed out on. Actually, we may still have time. You explain Leland's offer to Sienna as well as the choice you've been asked to make. She drops her fork. But that's incredible. We can get our jobs back and we can all be together forever. And suddenly, Sienna's face falls and she picks her fork back up, twirling it in speculative circles through the air. Though, maybe it's not just a good idea. That was a quick change. Sienna, are you having a problem with someone? I know we've been under a lot of stress. Is there someone in the group you want me to talk to, or do you just need a vent? No, it's not like that. At least I'm not having a problem with any of the roommates, it's just... Earlier this year with Mitch, I was so desperate for it to work out that I let myself be manipulated. The more I think about Leland's offer, the more I wonder whether it might be the same thing but for the hospital. But it would keep Edenbrook open. We could all stay together. I know, and I want that so badly, but it would also mean rolling over for this stranger, letting him control the narrative. I've learned the hard way what a slippery slope that can be. So, you don't think I should take it? I have to say, I'm kind of surprised. I thought you'd want Edenbrook back no matter what. Honestly, I'm surprised too, but if you took his money, I don't think we're getting Edenbrook back. At least not the way we had it. If I were the one making the decision, I think I'd probably say no. I wonder if I should talk to any of the other friends about this. Yes. It's always good to get input from every source. A short while later, you catch up with Aurora at the gym. Gotta burn that brunch off. Inside the large climbing gym, it's the largest array of indoor rock climb or walls you've ever seen. We're supposed to make it all the way up there. They always say not to look down, but no one ever warns you about not looking up. Have you ever been rock climbing before? Honestly, I've never done this. Don't worry, it's more intuitive than it seems. We can start off on the easiest walls. Trainers equipped you and Aurora with harnesses and belay you as you begin to climb. The first thing to remember is to push your legs more than you pull with your arms. Like this? Yeah, now keep your center of gravity over the foot to make it easier. With Aurora's advice, you slowly make your way up the wall. How do you make this look so easy? I feel like my muscles are turning to jelly. I like challenging myself. Rock climbing is a hell of a workout, but you're doing great, especially for your first time. After a short while, you finally reach the top and rappel back to the floor with Aurora doing a high five. Not bad for your first climb. Next time, we'll get up there even faster. You remove your harness and take a drink of water. You know, I always liked the rock climbing was a sport you could do alone. This is actually the first time I've gone with someone else. And how was it? Surprisingly good. There must be something to having friends thing. Speaking of friends, there's something I was hoping to talk to you about. You sit on a nearby bench and explain the billion-dollar decision to Aurora in detail. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous that he asked you to make the call. You're jealous? You must be kidding. I'd rather anyone else have to make this decision. You can't imagine how much pressure I feel. Then, don't take it entirely on yourself. Well, that's why I was hoping you could help me with it. Obviously, I don't want Edenbrook to close for good, but Leland could have stepped in before, and he didn't. He's taking advantage of the situation. True, but everyone's always angling for their own advantage. You can't escape that. In fact, you taught me that. Really? Absolutely. Living in my aunt's shadow, for example, it's a blessing and a curse. I can't escape it, and there will always be people who are trying to use my connection to her to their advantage. But just because I can't change their goals doesn't mean I can't use the opportunities that arise to my advantage. So you're saying I should take the money? I am. You and Bloom don't have to be in it for the same reasons for this money to do some serious good. If I were you, I'd take the check straight to Naveen. I wonder if I should talk to any of my other friends about this. After your conversation, you call Elijah and decide to meet up with him at the local movie theater. This place seems empty. Right, weekday matinees are always the best. You have your pick of the seats and there are no lines to wait in. Speaking of, there's no such thing as a movie without concessions. What are you having? Buttered popcorn always in the theater. They make the best. A time-honored classic. Why mess with a good thing, you know? Couldn't agree more. Better make it the Mega Bucket. Snacks in hand, you make your way to the auditorium, where you easily score the 2 best seats in the house. So good food, good seats, and good company. Raise your snack and knock it lightly against Elijah's. Cheers. A few hours later, the lights come on, the credits roll as Elijah moves towards the aisle. You stop him. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you about something. You tell Elijah about Leland's check and what it could mean for Edenbrook. How did you let me watch that whole movie, not knowing we were getting our jobs back? Because I'm not even sure about accepting the money is the right decision. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. The right decision. Just think about everything we'll be able to do with Edenbrook back open. I think that depends on what Leland expects in return. Okay, but it would be a total opposite of when we worked with Panacea. In what way? We'll be on the cutting edge of medical research. I've wanted to get into that since, well, forever. An experimental procedure like the kind Leland would have his researchers focus on saved my life. I hear you. But there will be strings attached. There will always be strings, even at the old Edenbrook. That's true, but the people who attached them were doctors, not some billionaire. And those doctors made sure we did what they thought was best, even if someone else might have said otherwise. A new perspective on this stuff could make a world of difference. That's kind of what I'm sort of afraid of. So you think I should do it? Walk over to Edenbrook and bring the check to Naveen. Walk, try, run. Right. Everyone's given me a lot to think about. There's just one more person I should speak to. You return to your apartment to get some space. There's still one person you want to hear from more than anyone. I swear, if you say Jackie... God damn it. Why don't you call all of them? Just in case they're not going to let us talk to all of them. You call Ethan and make plans to meet him at a coffee shop near Edenbrook that you've been to many, many times. Can't get away from this place, huh? Old habits, I suppose. So what's bothering you? Sound like you had something urgent to discuss. You reach in your pocket, pull out Leland's check, handing it to him. Ethan looks at the figure and the name, and then turns to you. What happened, Casey? You pour out the story as Ethan listens quietly, eyes never leaving yours. So now I have to make a billion-dollar choice. He nods, still silent, eyes fixed on a point in the distance as he mulls over everything you've told him. Finally, he turns to you. Do you remember what I told you at the beginning of this year? Control what you can control? Exactly. I think you know what that giving Leland Edenbrook would be sacrificing all control. Maybe so. But this is the one thing I can control. If we let him take over Edenbrook, we don't control anything. If we say no, we still don't. The decision is the one say I have in what happens. I say it's more the illusion. Casey, Leland's plan will be the only thing that matters. Mark my words. What are you saying? Just that he's a man with a powerful personal ambition. Well, he talked to me about that. He wants to push the boundaries of what doctors can do, prioritize research into the unknown. And who gets to hold him to these promises? Hospital policy, priorities, even individual patient decisions could come down to his whims. I know, he's not a doctor. I worry about putting patients at his mercy, but still, how is doing nothing better? I wonder. Ethan takes a deep breath and thinks in silence for a minute before finally responding. Control what you can control. I used to say that to stay focused on what was in my power and let go of what wasn't. But after this year, I've learned something. Sometimes you have to take a gamble. Do what you think is right, Casey. Whatever that is, I support you. You finish up your coffee and say goodbye to Ethan, only once you're about to exit the coffee shop does it occur to you. Control what you can control. It's not just Ethan doing that. It's Bloom. I think I finally understand what he's up to. Later that day, you make your way to Leland's mansion, where a member of his staff escorts you inside. Leland sits on his sofa, surrounded by books and papers. You look like you're in the middle of something.
Research into Caroline's condition, and mine.
Leland, I respect your initiative.
My initiative has gotten me everything in my life worth having. It got me my fortune, even Caroline.
I'm glad to see your condition hasn't put a damper on it.
Of course not. Adversity is when you need an initiative most. But enough about that. I take it you've come because you've considered my offer.
More than you know, and while I've been thinking, I keep coming back to one nagging question. Why me? Why would a man as powerful as you put the decision to spend $1 billion of his money in my hands? Then I realized something. That wasn't the choice you gave me at all. You were always going to buy Edenbrook, weren't you? His eyes narrow as he assesses you, a new, wry smile curling the corner of his mouth.
I told you myself I never take a no for an answer.
Exactly, which means this check was a test, and only a test. You wanted to know if you'd had an ally in one of the doctors. Leland slowly rises to his feet and approaches you without breaking eye contact.
I'm impressed. You really do have quite a mind, Casey. And to answer you, yes, I was always going to do this with or without you, but achieving a vision as large as mine would be much harder without influential members of staff committed to my cause.
Leland offers you his hand.
So what do you say? Partners?
I may not be able to decide what happens with Edenbrook, but I do have control over what sort of person I'm gonna be. Which is why I have to...
Oh, I'm gonna think about this one. Okay, I've sat for like 20 minutes and thought about this.
Which is why I have to... return the check. Place Leland's check into his outstretched hand. I won't stand in your way, but I won't take part in your little experiment either. Leland pockets the check and chuckles.
You're a smart one. I thought you might figure it out, but you must know this was part of the experiment. I learned something important about you just now, and that was ever I hoped to do.
He slips the check in his pocket, face steely as he assesses you.
My lawyers will be in touch with the hospital shortly regarding the acquisition.
That you turn and walk out of the house, hoping against hope that you made the right decision. A few weeks later. You and your friends return to the hospital for a small reception, kicking off Leland's overhaul of the hospital. I can't believe it. Edenbrook is coming back. And then did you hear about the changes they're making? I heard the whole building is getting overhauled. That's why we're only going to be able to see patients for a few weeks before it closes down again.
You're kidding. I thought they were keeping one floor open during construction.
That was the original plan, but apparently the changes are going to be even more extensive than they thought. Judging from the amount of construction equipment parked in the ambulance bay, extensive is just the beginning. In that case, this party feels... premature. I'll save my celebrating for the minute this place is fully open again. Not me. I'll take every single party I can get. I'm just glad we could manage the partial reopening, even if we only see a few hundred patients before construction kicks into high gear. That's meaningful. I think we can all agree on that. Speaking of kicking into high gear, Raph, how's your physical therapy going? Actually, it went great. Last week was my last session. The therapist told me I'd recovered so well, I basically was just using her as a personal trainer. That's fantastic. Does that mean you're going back to your job as an EMT? Actually, no. The last day in the clinic, when I tried to help out and couldn't, it got me thinking. But you're stronger now than you were then. I am, physically, great. But I wasn't certain I'd get here. And I realized I'm not sure going back to that life is best for me now. Anyway, don't get me wrong, I love the job, especially the sense that I was making a difference helping people, but the attack made me realize being a hero doesn't always mean taking the biggest risks. You can say that again. I'm not sure what's next for me but I think the adventure of I was meant to have building a new life, not just building back to the old one. Raph, I think that was a lesson you needed to learn. I know you meant well, but throwing yourself into danger all the time, it was stupid. You're lucky it didn't get you killed. Casey, he doesn't need a lecture. No, Casey's right. I was getting reckless. Selfish, even. Luckily, there's nothing like a few weeks flat on your back to give you a new perspective. Dr. Bernerji looks like he's about to start. Rice points, and you all turn your attention to the podium where Naveen is standing, a shovel in one hand.
Thank you all for joining me today to celebrate the groundbreaking of New Edenbrook. We won't be up for full capacity for some time yet, but when we are, this will be the premier hospital in not only the city, but possibly the entire nation.
The crowd applauds wildly.
And of course, today never would have been possible without a certain generous individual. Speaking of Edenbrook's guardian angel, Mr. Leland Bloom.
Naveen gestures at Leland, summoning him to the podium as the crowd cheers continues.
I, for one, can't wait to see this Bloom Fellow's vision for his hospital in action.
Naveen hands Leland the shovel, moving aside to give him access to a corner of the lobby where the tiles have been removed to reveal a small plot of land for Leland to ceremoniously dig up. But instead of doing so, Leland turns, walks over to the building entrance, and smashes through a window with the shovel.
You know what they say in my world? Break things fast. Get ready, everyone, because Bloom Edenbrook is going to be a hospital unlike any you've ever seen.
Cameras flash, immortalizing the moment.
Once we're up and running again, this hospital won't look just different. Our doctors and patients will have access to cutting-edge research and the best equipment money can buy. And I assure you, that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Anna leans in to murmur to the group. After he gave Casey that little loyalty test, I don't know what to believe. I believe that a cutting-edge hospital is a good thing, even if the man running it isn't so spotless. I just hope he comes through. We have the potential to do something special here. As Leland concludes his speech, he turns to his wife as if to hug her, then pulls back at the last moment, pain flashing across his face.
I'd like to invite everyone to raise a glass with me to discovery, care, and the future of medicine.
As everyone joins in Naveen's toast, Kira turns to your group. Now that the party started, I actually have a toast of my own. As of yesterday, I was officially declared cancer-free. Hey! That's incredible. That I will gladly drink to.
Hear, hear. Congratulations, Kira. Are you gonna stay on in Edenbrook?
Actually, no. Frankly, I've spent enough time in the hospital for a lifetime. Maybe two. So, what are you gonna do? There's a whole world out there I haven't seen. I'm planning to fix it. Kira, I really wish you'd stay. I can't imagine this place without you. It's not just Casey. None of us want to see you go. I get that, and I will miss you all, but it's time. I was afraid missing out on life for so long, and I'm gonna make that mistake again. Not now that I'm well enough to enjoy it. I'm really gonna miss you guys. Not as much as we'll miss you. To your next chapter. You all clink glasses, take a drink, and circle up for a large group hug with Kira at the center, as waiters start moving through the crowd with trays of drinks and food. A string quartet begins to play. It might be nice to ask that special someone to a dance. I want to dance with that appetizer spread.
May I have this dance?
So formal.
The invitation did say this was a formal occasion.
You take Ethan's hand and move onto the dance floor with him. He places a hand on the small of your back, pulling you closer as you start to sway to the music.
You know, I admire the gamble you're taking.
Dancing with you?
Aren't you funny? I met with Leland. Refusing to play ball with a man like that takes guts.
Maybe I just like to live dangerously.
As do I.
Ethan leans his face towards you and kisses you deeply, drawing glances from a few nearby doctors. When he finally pulls away, you can see the longing in his eyes. His hand on your back seems to radiate warmth through your entire body.
Ready to get out of here?
Head back to Ethan's apartment for a passionate night together, your last chance this book.
I like your suit.
You and Ethan sneak out of the party and head back to his apartment together.
I can finally hear myself think.
You really do hate parties, don't you?
Oh, it's not parties as much, it's the combination of mindless chatter and forgettable people demanding your attention.
Forgettable, huh?
Not all of them. In fact, some of the people I met at parties turn out to be positively fascinating.
Fascinating. And what about them is so appealing? Is it their winning personality? Ethan smirks playfully.
Maybe I should talk about her admirable sense of humility instead.
Oh, please. It's not admirable. It's enviable. I set an example after all.
There's that winning personality for you.
He smiles and brushes a strand of your hair out of your face, drawing close enough for you to feel his breath on your lips. But he pulls back.
I was going to ask whether you wanted to move things into the bedroom, but then I remembered I lived alone.
Meaning?
No reason to restrict ourselves that way if we don't want to.
Ethan gestures grandly to the large living room windows overlooking the city below.
You'd be ashamed to miss out on such a lovely view, don't you think?
You place a hand on your chest in mock horror. But Ethan, people might see us.
Precisely. Which view did you think I was referring to?
Ethan runs a fingertip down the side of your cheek, tracing down your neck as he leans in to whisper in your ear.
So, should we take this to the bedroom, or are we going to make every inch of this apartment?
Let's take this to the window.
Are you sure? As you said, people might see us.
Well, let's just say you made an excellent point on that matter. Ethan steps forward and cups your cheek, pulling you in for a long kiss, and then wraps his arms around your back and turns you around, pushing you up against the window. A shiver of delight runs through you as he leans down to nip the back of your neck.
That should get their attention.
You twist around, pressing your lips to Ethan's as your hands hurriedly unbutton his shirt, pulling it off his shoulders and throwing it across the living room. As Ethan's hands undress you, you fumble with the clasp of his belt, pulling off his pants at the same time as he throws your last item to the ground. Now this is a view I could stare at all night. Ethan peers over your shoulder to look out the window and then returns to kiss you on the cheek.
You and half the city, apparently.
Let them look. They're just jealous. Ethan bends over you, mouth hovering over your body, warm breath against your skin.
Casey, I need you now.
Your entire body lights up as Ethan begins kissing every inch of you, beginning with your cheek, then descending down your neck, lower and lower. His hands move between your legs, and you gasp as a jolt of pleasure courses through you, every fiber of your being screaming out for more. Wait.
Is everything okay?
More than okay. I just thought this occasion deserved a little more, extra. More specifically, whipped cream. You run to the kitchen and return with a can of whipped cream.
Whipped cream? What are you gonna do with that, make us sundaes?
In a manner of speaking, yes. With a grin, you spray a line of whipped cream down the front of Ethan's chest, ending just below his belly button. Ethan gives you a smirk.
I think I get your meaning now.
You grin, and without a word, pin Ethan against the window, tracing your way down the line of whipped cream with your tongue. When you reach the end of the trail, you quickly glance out the window and then back at Ethan, flashing him a mischievous smile. If we're gonna give them a show... Before he can reply, you descend further past the line of whipped cream in between his legs. The window shakes as Ethan braces against it, moaning and squirming with pleasure as you move your mouth along him.
Oh, Casey, this...
Finally, Ethan's hand cups under your chin, pulling you up to face him. He brandishes the canister of whipped cream.
My turn.
Open your mouth to protest, but before you can get a word out, Ethan sprays a dollop of whipped cream on his forefinger and pushes it gently into your mouth.
No arguments.
You nod, your heart fluttering as you suck the whipped cream off of his finger, and then he withdraws his finger. Your body aches to feel more of him. You gasp as Ethan's first sprays whipped cream across your chest, then takes his time lapping it up. His tongue caressing your breasts, your mind going blank with pleasure. Ethan. You kiss Ethan deeply, your hand reaching between his legs at the same time. I need you. He smiles against your lips.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Don't hold back.
You have no idea how hard it's been to control myself this long.
He leans in close, his teeth nipping at your neck, making you gasp.
But now I can finally let go.
He bites down harder, not enough to break the skin, but enough that that delicious pain courses through you.
Too much?
Not enough. He smiles, trailing his mouth further down the side of your neck, teeth nipping at your skin, the short jolts of pain giving way to pleasures. He massages the sore spots with his tongue. Finally, gripping your wrists with one hand, you feel him enter you, pleasure and pain combining into a surge of a rush of sensation. You dig your fingernails into Ethan's back as you build a rhythm, going faster and faster, your grip tightening as your pace increases. Ethan builds speed, your body shaking as he rocks against you, his every movement sending cascades of pleasure through you, threatening to overwhelm your senses. Your mind goes blank. The sensory overload is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Ethan redoubles his pace, pinning your wrists against the window as you moan in pleasure. Finally, you surrender yourself to the surge of sensation, your vision going white as your body quakes with pleasure. A short while later, you and Ethan have collapsed onto the floor next to the window, his arms around you as your heart rate slowly returns to normal.
That was incredible.
You lean your head against his with a smile. You're incredible. I can't believe I get to do what we just did whenever I want.
It takes a little while for it to sink in, doesn't it?
I don't think it has yet. And on that note, I think it's time for round 2.
Mad with power, are we?
Look me in the eyes and tell me you don't want more of what we just had. Ethan just smiles and kisses you, gently pushing you down until your bodies intertwine once more. The following morning, you and your roommates arrive at the hospital for their first day back at work. It's surreal, isn't it? I was so sure we'd lost this place forever. But we didn't, and in a few weeks, it could be better than ever. Here's hoping.
It's weird how everything can feel so different and so familiar at the same time.
Come on, guys. Let's get to work. You and your friends move through the corridor, startled by the head-splitting sounds of hammers, drills, and saws. I guess I thought he'd hold off on the major stuff, especially since we're going to have a shutdown again soon, no matter what. He's moving fast. I'm guessing this is how things will be from now on. Look around. This is who Leland is. What did he say about groundbreaking? Break things fast.
I guess this is the trade-off for the top-of-the-line facility.
I just hope he realizes that our work can take a lot of patience and focus. Behind you, someone coughs lightly in their hand, and you all turn to find Mitch, standing a few feet away. Mitch, what are you doing here?
I heard Edenbrook was reopening, and I thought maybe there was a way I could be part of that.
Well, what are you talking about?
I was hoping, is there any way I could get my job back? I know I screwed up before, but I promise I'm ready to put the work in. It won't be like last time, I swear.
Let's talk. Sienna gestures to Mitch to follow her to a slightly less chaotic portion of the hospital. Ethan ducks underneath some scaffolding as he approaches your group.
It's a madhouse in here. We shouldn't have opened this early, especially since we're have to close up for some period of time regardless. You wouldn't want to keep your patients waiting that long, though, would you? Ah, Dr. Valentine, good morning.
Leland, good morning. You certainly haven't wasted time making an impression here.
Edenbrook's success reflects on me, and no one's ever become successful waiting to get started.
There's a difference between patience and recklessness.
And I like to think I know what it is. Now, Dr. Ramsey, why don't you follow me to my new office? You and I have a lot to discuss.
Oh, I've no doubt I have much to contribute to all of this. He gestures at the chaos surrounding him. My job is medicine, Leland.
And my job is transformation. And to do my job well, I need to know everything there is to know about your famed diagnostics team. I intend to keep a very close eye on you. Your team's reputation will buy us crucial goodwill while I pivot the hospital towards cutting-edge research.
You can't help but notice the worry knitting in his brows. That's not how he made it sound before.
Can I ask what you mean? Simply that the New Edenbrook will be a premier research hospital in New England, and I expect every person here to fall in line with that mission. Now, first things first, Dr. Horatio gone, there's an opening position on your team. I wonder who'd be a good fit. I didn't realize you intended to take such a granular interest. Don't worry, I know the limits of my expertise, but I do have a few suggestions. Dr. Mendoza from Mass Kinmore, for example, seems like a good fit to me.
But he has a reputation for treating patients like guinea pigs. He's only concerned with flashy new procedures, not patient care.
You say reckless, I say the man takes risks, and New Edenbrook is going to need a few risk takers if it's going to become the hospital I intend for it to be.
Leland wraps a friendly arm around Ethan's shoulder, who turns back to you with a look of worry as he disappears down the hall. I wonder what that can mean for us. Later that morning, you walk to the hospital, taking in sights of both new and familiar. Only a few departments are up and running, but all the doctors are working busily. You spot Gary in one of the few patient rooms, deftly setting an IV on a young patient. And done! How did you do that? I thought it would hurt. Thank you so much, Doctor. She's so afraid of needles. Well, then it's lucky you wound up in the best intern of the place. Nice going, Gary. Jackie high-fives her intern as their hands connect. She notices you nearby. You smile over at Jackie, offering her an impish thumbs up. Jackie rapidly turns her head away with a fake call. Something wrong? Do you need me to give you an exam? No, Gary, I'm just... Ignore it, okay? Wow, God forbid you get to be social. As you pass by the ER, you notice Salty intentionally focused on a patient chart. What's her SAT? Looks like she just dropped down to 82. Stop what you're doing, get her on oxygen, and take her to the first open OR. Right away, Doctor. He's come a long way. Just then, you hear Inez calling out from just outside an exam room. I need some help here! You hurry to join her. What happened? One of the interns cut her hand open on some of the broken glass from all the construction. She needs someone to do the stitches, but I'm with a patient and we're short-staffed. Apparently Mr. Bloom felt there was no point in bringing everyone on for just a couple of weeks. I can do it. Thank you, Casey. You're a lifesaver. You step inside the patient room to find... Oh. Esme. The prodigal intern returns. The two of you share an awkward glance as you pull the chair over to look at her deep cut across her hand. It's no big deal. I wanted to stitch it myself, but Inez always makes a fuss. No, it was smart. Doing procedures on yourself is always tricky. Just ask Mitch. Carefully prep Esme's hand, silence hanging between you. It's really good to see you. Really? Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot lately. Wondering how you were. With a hand clean and prepped, you begin to stitch the wound. Esme doesn't flinch. So, what happened with the lawsuit? Bloom settled it, of course, when he acquired the hospital. Must have been some settlement. Yeah, well, what's a few million to a guy like that? So, it's over then? Maybe for Edenbrook, not for me. I'll never forget Levy or what happened. I'm sure you won't. She sighs heavily and then turns to you, warmth in her eyes. Thank you again for having my back. That's something else I won't forget. You tie off the final stitch, and Esme examines her hand. Very professional. It will heal over soon, but it's going to leave a scar. Ain't that the way? One day soon after, you rush through the doors of Donahue's just minutes before midnight. Sorry I'm late. A really interesting patient came in, and no need to explain, Casey. We've all met you before. I'm glad the drink we bought you won't go to waste. It wouldn't have been a waste, but we were about to do the toast without you. No, we weren't. We started this year together, and we're finishing it together, too. I still can't believe we're going to be senior residents soon. Starting our last year of our residency. Well, except for Bryce. He's got 4. Man, don't remind me. I can't believe they let you slackers get away with only 3. What a year. I can't believe that Jackie didn't murder Gary. That you know of. That's true. I don't see him anywhere. I don't know why you can't just admit you're besties. Because we're not besties. Come on, you're at least buds. Fine, I'll concede buzz if it will make you shut up. As your friends continue to reminisce, you look around the bar. You see Zayden pass, embracing by the door. Ethan gives you a subtle nod from the bar as he plays pool with the other interns. No matter what happens next, I think we're gonna be alright. Hey, it's almost midnight. Everyone get your drinks ready and let's head outside. The clock ticks, time draining away. You narrow your eyes, brow furrowed with focus. The second hand sweeps up, counting down the precious last moments until 3, 2, 1. Thank you for playing Open Heart, second year. Inbrook crew will be back for their final year of residency in Open Heart, third year. With Bloom at the helm, will Edenbrook be the same? Stay tuned to find out. So without further ado, thank you all for watching. It was bitter, short, and sweet, I can say that. I was expecting at least a little bit more, but I digress. You guys know what to do. It's there on the screen. I will probably be streaming on Twitch later this evening. Feel free to come and tune into that. And, so here's my thoughts on Open Heart second year. It was alright. I feel like there were a lot of plot holes, a lot of loopholes, and a lot of things left unsaid, especially with Esme and the whole 9 yards with that. Leland, I get the perspective of it. That's why I had to go and I had to think about the decision I was going to make. I don't think it's going to make a hugely intricate decision for you, but it would have been you being a suck up to him versus not, and who knows how and why that would have influenced. I don't know, that's about it. Anyway, catch y'all later. Peace.